years of near total inactivity, Jim Plunkett is a quarterback reborn. And here is Jim to tell you how he accounts for it.
Probably the layoff has helped me tremendously, I think, both physically and mentally, and even emotionally somewhat. And plus, you know, I've for a change, in a sense, I've gotten to play behind a very good football team who plays good offense and good defense.
The good offense is reflected in Bob Chandler, whom you saw seconds ago, and Cliff Branch, whom you see now, and in Raymond Chester, the tight end. So Plunkett is using his weapons, but tonight, his team must stop another great offensive unit because Jim Zorn, the southpaw quarterback, reminds one of Fran Tarkenton in his prime. And he can hit his targets like Sam McCullum right there, like the great Steve Largent. He knows how to make that team go. What a matchup tonight.
The Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, and it will be rocking tonight. 64,000 seats have been sold. That is capacity. And ABC's NFL Monday Night Football presents the Oakland Raiders against the Seattle Seahawks.
What about the Oakland Raiders, winners of 5 in a row? This was supposed to be a year of transition. It hasn't been that. It's been a year of victory. Here's the Giffer to tell you why.
Well, first of all, Howard, it really is a warm story. Jim Plunkett, he was written off a couple of years ago. A great background, Heisman Award winner, of course. Stanford in 1970, the first player drafted in 71, Rookie of the Year. 4 good years with New England. And then he was traded for 3 number 1 draft picks, a 2, and another football player, Tom Owen, a quarterback, to the San Francisco 49ers. He was to save that franchise. Well, the wheels came off for this young man, and he was released in 1978. Many thought he was through with football. Well, it's been a marvelous story to watch because he took over after the 5th game of the season for the Oakland Raiders this year. And as Howard already has mentioned, he has won 5 games, and he has won it in a very classy style. Oakland, one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now, and they are threatening heavily to get back into those playoffs once again. And it's been a transition year, but they have a very fine team. They brought in players, key players here and there, and they've turned up with not only a good offensive unit, but they've come up with a tremendous defensive effort. We're set to go, and this is Jesse Green, a second-year man from Tulsa, dropping deep for the Seahawks. He'll be back there with Will Lewis, number 41. And again, a sellout crowd. They love the Seahawks here in Seattle, and well, they should, because they play exciting football. They do peculiar things at different times. Watch them on 4th down, because they don't always kick. They don't always go for the field goal when they look like they will. Chris Barr kicks off. We're underway. Seattle will have first possession. Jesse Green from his own end zone, and he is met and met viciously at the 14-yard line. Hustling down there was number 56, Jeff Barnes, and Seattle will start deep in their own territory. Of course, their quarterback, Jim Zorn, Dan Dornick, Jim Jodat, acquired this season from the Los Angeles Rams, the 2 wide receivers. Well, they are special, both of them. They have over 60 receptions between them. There's an offensive line that at times this year has failed young Jim Zorn at quarterback. He has been intercepted 5 times only a week ago, 13 times on the season. That is not the Jim Zorn that we knew in the previous 3 years. 1st and 10, Seattle, 4-6 on the season. They still think they have a chance, however. Zorn immediately to the air, and he fouls out complete. It's to McCullum. And McCullum takes it up close to a 1st down, and will meet the defensive unit. And most of the time they'll be in this 3-4 passing situations. They'll bring in what the man they call the bandit. As they move into a 4-3, there are your linebackers, and the man who has really made a difference defensively is Matt Millen, the rookie from Penn State, filling in for an injured Monty Johnson out for the season. Monty Jackson at the right cornerback is a question mark. He was not expected to start tonight, but he's in there playing with a chronically sore knee at right cornerback. 2nd down, very short yardage, getting the call, and the 1st down is Jim Jodat, and Jodat breaks it out to the 30-yard line. Getting the 1st down, Burgess Owens at safety had to make the stop. Jim Plunkett takes over for the Oakland Raiders offense. This man has generated 5 consecutive victories for the Oakland Raiders, taking over after the 5th game when Denny Pastorini was hurt. He has a 1st and 10, the ball at the 28-yard line. Hands off to Mark Van Egan, and Mark Van Egan over the 30, out close to the 32, a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Van Egan making his 99th consecutive appearance in an Oakland Raider uniform. They have a lot of people like that out on the wide flanks. The 2 receivers have 13 touchdowns between them, Bob Chandler and Cliff Branch. Gene Upshaw making his 197th consecutive start at left guard. They're big. They're huge, as a matter of fact, this Oakland Raider offensive line. Second down, 7. Branch left, Chandler right. Van Egan rolling on the right side and out over the 35, close to the 36-yard line for a pickup of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 2, and must meet the defensive unit of the Seattle Seahawks. A couple of youngsters in the middle. And, of course, the man that has performed so well in his rookie year, Jacob Green, a defensive left end. Linebackers, perhaps somewhat questionable, but not Michael Jackson, the second-year man who played his college football right here at the University of Washington, number 55. 3rd down, 2. Ball at the 36-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Kenny King, the setback. And King gets the toss, turns it on, gets out over the 40-yard line. Oakland 1st down.
Well, that's the man that the Oakland organization wanted, because he gives them a dimension they were sadly lacking. He gives them the outside speed you just saw. The point I wanted to make earlier, Frank, if I may, was when as you look at Kenny, when you talked about so many of them being reclamation projects, they are, but by design. The reclamation projects, Matusak, Hartman, Plunkett, Campbell, Owens, all first-round draft choices. So they had something to begin with, and maybe there's not that much reclamation involved. Frank?
They certainly have put it together. On 1st and 10, Plunkett hides the ball. It's in trouble and loses the football, and I believe the Raider is on top.
You can almost hear him say whoops from up here, and whoops is not a good word.
The Seagulls. That's rather clever of them, isn't it?
As in what, Howard?
Jonathan Livingston Seagal.
I see. They've been floating around our window out there around the hotel. I've had more fun. I've been opening the window, like feeding them some things.
That previous announcement brought to you by a public service for the National Football League and, of course, Tom Lynch, the fine offensive guard. There for Seattle, Efren Herrera. Keep in mind, Seattle does not always do what they're supposed to do.
Herrera can be a very effective receiver, as we learned in the Atlanta game last year.
Zorn, the holder.
I think they go with the points here, though.
I would think so.
27-yard attempt.
Oh, Herrera's wide open. There he goes.
Out of bounds. He does not get into the end zone. A little too eager, but the crowd loves it.
That is amazing.
That's a 1st down. That Herrera has become the most exciting wide receiver in the game of football today. Only on Monday night.
It happened in Atlanta, Howard, a year ago.
That's
Atlanta and Seattle, they did the same thing. You would think that the scouting report would have alerted Oakland to watch this dangerous and wily wide receiver.
But he's actually learned several new routes, Frank. That's the reason why.
Not only that, once, you know what Patera did? Yeah, look, he was out of... You know what Patera did once? He used Herrera as a lead blocker.
1st down, goal to go. 24 seconds remaining in the half. Oakland has used another timeout. Sargent settles into a wing on the right side, and McCutcheon bangs into
He got it, he got it, he got it.
I said at the top of the show they love their Seahawks. And this is typical Seahawk play. Herrera for the conversion.
Efren Herrera for Guadalajara.
Flag is down.
He looks almost statuesque, doesn't he, going off there?
He's grown about a foot. Oh, don't you love this crowd?
That's why you love to have Seattle on the schedule, because I don't care what their won and lost record is. They can do it against anybody.
Plunkett not having one of your scintillating exhibitions thus far. Van Egan touching the football, getting out to the 32-yard line, and time will expire here in the 1st half. Well, It only took about 2 minutes of play to turn this crowd on. They had watched the ball move back and forth in the middle of the field, and then all of a sudden the combination. Zorn to Herrera. And Seattle's on top. We'll be back after this word from our local stations. Herrera to kick off. You had a look at Ira Matthews. He's dangerous back there, as is Arthur Whittington. Whittington went 90 yards for a TD last week against Cincinnati. Herrera punts it and is taken by Whittington. And he's upended immediately, sprawling over the 25, out to the 27-yard line. And let's take a look at the activities as they occurred in the first half.
All right, you see how overwhelmingly Seattle it was. It was almost unbelievable to watch the paucity of the Oakland offense. Yards passing, none. Yards rushing, only 56. Seattle 220 to 56. Seattle totally dominant in possession of the football. Now let's see what this Oakland team is made of.
1st and 10. Oakland at their own 27-yard line. Kenny King, and he runs into trouble over on the right side. Bill Gregory was there, along with Manu Tuiasosopo. Great guy to hit. Will Lewis settles in, and he settles in way back, close to his 25-yard line. Lots of respect for Ray Guy. Ray Guy, he'll run it out, and he'll get the first down. Turnabout is fast left. Fourth down. Ray Guy out of bounds. He is all the way down to the 49-yard line of Seattle, and he shocked everyone.
We told you earlier, this guy is the third-string quarterback. He's a great athlete. Look at it again, Don.
Well, Howard, look, I mean, this guy doesn't run like a kicker, doesn't run like a quarterback. He runs like a heck of a good athlete that can pick him up and put him down. He is a good athlete.
He sure is.
And I think this was designed all the way along. He was trying to get a little fake to the inside to get to the outside. So he said, look, we saw Herrera in the first half. Let me show you something here in the second half. I got some moves, too.
Now it's a football game.
Plunkett on first down. Wide open's Chandler.
Oh, yeah.
And Plunkett picks out Chandler, and Chandler gets inside the 20-yard line of Seattle.
Very good throw, too.
Flag goes down. Late hit.
Must be against Michael Jackson. He's the guy that's doing the throw. Oh, yeah, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is really exercised. He's going to get a personal foul.
Plunkett threw a good ball that time. He had some time to throw. Looked him off to the left. Came to Chandler coming over the middle. Let's see if we can pick up what the personal foul was. They're calling it on Michael Jackson, who...
Defense, 55. Personal foul, first down.
Well, if you're going to do it, he didn't do it very badly, but they're still calling him for getting in there late.
Well, I thought it was a perfectly proper call. I said, now we'll see what Oakland is made of, and it was Seattle who scored. Now we'll see what Oakland is made of. Frank told it like it was. The game is far from over.
I think that was a questionable call myself.
Very definitely. He'll throw the football, Whittington will. If he can get behind this pickup here, will score.
He's got it. Look out.
Touchdown. Arthur Whittington was going out on the option to the right, circled back. It was almost like he was running on a punt, picked up a picket line of blockers into the end zone.
Well, the folks in Cuero, Texas will be happy tonight, and so will the old ponies of SMU. Now, they've worked on this play for weeks at a time. It's called a fake halfback option pass. Go to the right, stop, and run back to the left.
What a weird game.
Yeah, Chandler threw a really strong block right there to break him.
Now we're getting the scoring we expected in the beginning.
Go get him, Arthur.
Chris Barr on for the conversion. And Oakland is on the scoreboard, erasing their 0. 7:03 remaining in the third quarter as the youngster from SMU has put Oakland on the scoreboard. We'll be back.
When I was coaching, I was the boss. I used to feed them, dress them, get them to bed on time. Now I treat them to our favorite beer, right?
Like beer from Miller.
Light's got a third less calories than the regular beer. And what else?
It's less filling, Red.
And they really like the taste. Another beer, anyone?
Yeah. Come on, do it.
What's the magic word?
Please.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey. That, of course, the reference to the proposed move by the Oakland Raiders to Los Angeles. The Raiders have fallen off in attendance for the first time in 11 years. They've not been sold out. IRA fans, of course, in Oakland. There's even a threat of a demonstration for our Monday night game that we have there December 1st between Denver and Oakland. Fans calling for some of the fans to stay out of the stadium the first 5 minutes of that game. Second down 10. Garn. Grable comes down with it.
That's when you know you got it going. It's like last week on the tip pass to Mike Barber.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? When I see him throw with his left hand, it reminds me of the things that, you know, the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. Now, this must mean, of course, that left-handed people are the only ones in their right mind.
No, that's the way Jerry Rome called the play.
Those left-handed folks are the only ones in their right mind. Trying to get it larger, he missed him. Bounced up in the air. Actually, it right. That's Dwight O's team there. Bounced up in the air. And fortunately for Seattle, we had Steve Rabel there in position.
First and 10, the ball at the 39-yard line of Oakland, and Jodad runs into a peck of trouble over the left side. Ball is bobbled. They're saying no, he was down. Ted Hendricks was in there initially, and Ted Hendricks, well, he just reads these plays so beautifully. Stepped across the line of scrimmage and turned Jodad back to the inside, and there is an injured Seattle Seahawks.
Here are the third quarter stats. And still, Seattle retains its dominance, though Oakland briefly did explode for a touchdown. The score 17-7. Total yardage, no comparison. Yards passing, and that's the key to the game. It has not been an effective night for Jim Plunkett.
Division blackout lifted in the northwestern area. I'll get it all out in a moment.
It was the northeast and the northwest.
60,480, however, has turned out. They have been loud in support of their Seattle Seahawks. First and 10. Plunkett on first down to the air. Plunkett going for Branch. And Dave Brown comes up with it. Interception, his 6th of the season. Of course, Dave Brown, one of only 3 players on Seattle from the veteran allocation in '76. He started every game Seattle has ever played.
Don't care how fast Cliff Branch is. He didn't beat Dave Brown. The ball was thrown a long way, but Cliff Branch was never open. Brown had him all the way, had good position inside, made a good interception.
And Seattle will have the football when we come back at their own 28-yard line. Out comes Herman Weaver.
Didn't think they'd do that.
Well, they're surprising us tonight, aren't they?
There is Ira Matthews. As I said, has really not lived up to his great college senior year when he averaged almost 7 yards on punt returns for Wisconsin, leading the nation. Weaver, he's in trouble. And it's blocked.
There you go.
It was Ted Hendricks who made the block. And there's a scramble in the end zone. No.
They lucked out with
safety. They got away with the safety as deep as Seattle could get away. It looked like it was going to be 6, but there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they did luck out because that could have been a touchdown very easily.
They really did. And once again, the big play, Ted Hendricks.
Ineligible receiver, downfield, on the punt, refused, safety.
2 points racked up for the Oakland Raiders, and they'll get the football back on the free kick from the 20.
Well, now, it was not a bad snap. You think he's trying to play games? He saw Ray Guy do his number, Herrera do his number.
It was Lester Hayes pressuring Weaver and Ted Hendricks with the block. And I don't have the exact numbers, but Hendricks over the years has probably blocked more punts and field goals than any other active linebacker in the game today.
I think actually he has, Frank. I don't have the numbers either, but it seems like I read that somewhere. And at 6'7", you're not going to be too surprised because he does have the long arms to get up there and do it.
Tell you another thing about him. He's played in 169 consecutive games. Durable, a brilliant diagnostician on the field. He's been all over the field tonight. having just another superb year for Oakland. He, of course, did a great year a year ago. They kept him, sent Casper to Houston, and he's out of the game. Flags are down. Plunkett just bombing away. This time it's complete, and that's Derek Ramsey.
And he's got himself almost a touchdown. They will not take that offside.
Oh, they sure won't. And now you see in action why they traded David Casper. As great as David is, they've got Chester, they've got Ramsey, they believe in young Todd Christensen.
Oftentimes you see this happen. The defense knows they've committed a foul. They know there's going to be a penalty. There's just a slight hesitation. The ball is well thrown, but man, he is wide open down there. Who in the world is supposed to cover him? It's certainly not going to be that linebacker. That's Michael Jackson. It's not going to be Jackson who's going to cover him all the way.
3 setbacks in now. Kenny King, Mark Van Eegen, and Derek Jensen. That's Jensen. He'll adjust into a wingback spot. They should go right. Touchdown. Yep, Van Eegen. And the Raiders get in from the 1 on their 3rd effort. A conversion away from a 1-point lead now. And Seattle fans have seen this so often. Off to a great start. A game it looked like they could almost run away with, and now all of a sudden they're in a dogfight.
One gets the feeling that if all games were 55 minutes, Seattle would predominate in the entire league. Once the late Rocky Marciano told me, Don, if all fights were 50 rounds, watch this.
Chris Barr brings it to within 1. And we have 8:30 remaining in the game. We'll be back. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
It's a fairly interesting statistic you're talking about, that, Howard. They've won every game in which they've rushed 40 times or gained 200 yards rushing.
Third down and about 9, maybe a little more than 9. Lawrence McCutcheon single setback, 4 wide receivers for Seattle. And Oakland has tended to blitz on this situation. And here they come. Zorn picked off Lester Hayes. His 9th interception of the year.
Lester.
That ball was deflected, I believe, and Hayes was there.
But it was the one mistake, Frank, that Seattle could not afford. It's what they've been doing in the late minutes of every game, because now a field goal can win it for Oakland.
He did get the blitz, and here's the thing he's been criticized most for. I don't think he saw Lester Hayes out of Houston and Texas A&M. I think he didn't see him coming from the other side. Hendricks could have touched it a little bit.
I thought he did.
Maybe he did.
I'll tell you one thing, Lester Hayes, the kind of season he's having, that's his 16th interception in less than 2 years. 4th and 3. Seconds ticking away. 3 minutes remaining in the game. Roll out. Plunkett, first down.
He got it.
And he held it.
He said, I learned something on that last run. He tucked the ball in a little closer to you. That was a character builder, wasn't it?
He had fumbled 3 times during the course of the game.
Now, the seconds tick off. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Oakland has 3 timeouts remaining. They also have a very strong-legged place kicker in Chris Barr. He had 2 over 50 yards last year with Cincinnati, so he can reach it if you get the ball inside the 40. 1st and 10. Plunkett, Branch, stepping out of bounds, killing the clock, and also picking up 8 yards in doing so. Clock stopped, 2:08. And we're going to quickly pause 5 seconds, if you can quickly pause 5 seconds and allow your stations to identify yourselves.
You're watching KOMO TV for Seattle.
Cliff Branch, his first reception of the night with a gain of 8 yards as Oakland moves inexorably closer to field goal range for Chris Barr. Oakland down by 1. Again, a win tonight. And they stay 1 game ahead of the San Diego Chargers in the AFC West. Plunkett fires a dangerous pass out to Bob Chandler. Covering was Kerry Justin.
Chandler has been kind of a new threat for them. He's a guy that's kind of come back home to the Bay Area. He's a student in law school, night school.
He just ate Seattle up individually in the first game they played, and Seattle, or rather Oakland, beat them down in Oakland. He had 3 touchdown passes in that game.
He didn't have to pass on that play. He's got enough time. He only needs a yard for the first down. He could have run for the first down.
Heading towards a 2-minute warning. 2:04 remaining in the game. Ramsey in motion. Whittington gets to the outside. Kills the clock at the 36-yard line.
That's what I mean.
And we'll get the 2-minute warning.
After watching Bradshaw with Swan yesterday and the way they use the clock, Oakland has all the time in the world. They just don't have to make a mistake. We'll be back in a moment.
Egan, Arthur Whittington. Whittington with the good speed to the outside. Van Egan with the power up the middle.
I'd work to my tight end.
Flag is down.
And there he is.
Bucket. Ramsey was wide open. But again, a flag is down at the line of scrimmage as Ramsey gets down to the 17.
The kind of defense, they're really respecting those wide receivers and not paying a lot of attention to the tight end. You saw Ramsey really get open very easily that time.
Interesting the way they brought Ramsey in.
Offside Seattle. That'll be a first down at the 17-yard line.
Interesting, isn't it, Gibb, the way they're using Ramsey rather than Chester?
I commented on that earlier. I found Chester on the sidelines, has his helmet on, looks like he's ready to go in, but it's been Ramsey almost the entire second half. Chandler moves out to the right. Out to the left is Branch. First and 10 at the 17-yard line of Seattle. Whittington barreling ahead. As now I think that Oakland is beginning to think in terms of using up the clock. Let's get our field goal, but let's don't leave too much time on that clock for Seattle to move down the field after the kickoff.
Exactly.
If they get them a touchdown and they're only about 12, 13 yards away, and they use up some more of that time, they really can think about kicking it down there and hustling away.
Seattle can't do much about it. They only have 2 timeouts. They'll have to conserve theirs for possibility of getting the ball and trying to catch up themselves. And this is Whittington, left side, and Whittington to the 10-yard line. Third down, a little more than 2 yards to go.
That time is clicking away.
And Seattle has determined that they're going to have to use one of their timeouts to keep Oakland from just letting the clock tick down and then sending Chris Barr on for the field goal. There he comes. He's had a lot of time to think about it. He's 12 of 22 on the year. Certainly, range is no problem. He has a big foot. Chris Barr, of course, the brother of Matt Barr with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Quite a family out of Penn State.
Yep, they had the daddy as the coach.
1 minute on the clock. Seattle has 1 timeout.
It all comes down to this.
1 minute to go.
It'll be a long count. High snap.
He's in there.
And Chris Barr, for the first time tonight, has put the Oakland Raiders on top. The Oakland Raiders moving towards a 6th consecutive victory. 1 minute remaining. We'll be back in a moment. And they've got Zorn all the way back at the 2-yard line.
And these Seahawks
and
have
it's 4th down.
Yet to win one here in the Kingdome.
Apparently so. 32 seconds left. 1 timeout left.
4th down and 20. Let's see. No, more than that. 4th down and almost
26.
Yeah. See there?
Well, this is where you let the quarterback call his own play.
That's right.
Pull it out, Jim. Darn. And almost picked off out there by Lester Hayes. And that should do it. 8 seconds. He has the best expansion record ever in the league. Young team. And he's a solid coach. Sure is. Derek Jensen in motion. Whittington heads for the end zone. And that will be it. Raiders come from well back to defeat the Seattle Seahawks 19-17, and the Oakland Raiders have now won 6 straight. Seattle has lost 4 straight.